He reads the names of houses already drowned, and someone answers. The wind takes the sound of it and throws it out over the grey-green sea, as if the list itself might sink and be done with it. But Edmund Hale does not lose his place. He never loses his place. "Number 4, he says, steady as a nail. Stone Cottage, East Lane, assessed and owing." A pause. A gull cries. The cliff gives a small dry crack somewhere out of sight. Then a woman answers. "Aye?" Edmund lifts his eyes. She stands with the others on the broken edge of what used to be a road, shawl tight, boots sunk in damp soil, face worked thin by wind and waiting. She does not point behind her. She points out. To the sea. He had expected a town, a proper one, streets that stayed put, doors that closed on hinges instead of gravity. Dunwich does not behave. The road into it ends without warning. Just air, just the long drop to churning water and the white spit of waves chewing what is left. Fences stop mid-thought. A line of posts, then nothing. A garden with no back, a wall with no house, a church bell that rings over emptiness as if the ground might still be there if it listens hard enough. Edmund stands in it with clean boots and a sealed leather case and a mind arranged in columns. He is a royal man, not in silk or sword, but in ink. Ink that does not argue, ink that does not erode. He opens the ledger again, careful, precise. The page is already curling at the edges. The salt air is trying its luck. These assessments, he says, voice measured, remain due under Crown authority. Structures listed are taxable whether occupied or otherwise. The woman watches him. Occupied, she says. Not loud, not sharp, just tired. You're welcome to knock, if you like. There is a small shift among the gathered, not laughter, not quite. Edmund dips his pen. Liability does not depend on convenience, he replies. He walks the cliff because the numbers demand it, because 12 houses must be seen if 12 houses are to be written, because the page says 12. The land disagrees. The edge is not a clean cut, it is a slow tear. Earth peeled back in layers, roots dangling, beams jutting, a room split open like a cracked box, a bed still half there, a chair with 2 legs on nothing, a hearth hanging stubbornly as if warmth might anchor it. Below, the sea works. Not violently, not with rage, just patience. Bite, pull, swallow, bite, pull, swallow. Edmund steps closer than he should. The ground gives a small warning shift beneath his weight. Pebbles slip, a clatter down the face. He freezes. His breath shortens. Not with fear, he tells himself. With calculation. The ledger is tucked under his arm. He tightens his grip on it as if it might steady the land. It does not. Another crack. Louder. He steps back. For the first time since his appointment, Edmund Hale looks at a problem that does not hold still long enough to be solved. They stood there, says the woman later, quieter now, closer to him. She has followed him from the edge, or perhaps he has not noticed her leave. My brother's place, door faced west, took the light nice in the evening. Edmund does not look up from the page. Name? Thomas Reed. He finds it. Of course it is there. Of course it is neat. Property recorded. Tax outstanding. She nods once, as if that part is fair, as if the paper has done its duty. He went down with it, she adds. The pen stops. A retrieval attempt, Edmund says, after a moment, searching for the correct shape of the thing. A door, she says. Just the door. It was still whole. Thought he might get it back up. Use it again. Edmund's hand tightens. Ink gathers at the nib, a small black swell. He tied himself to the frame, she continues. Smart, he thought, so he wouldn't lose it in the drop. The wind shifts, brings the salt in harder. The rope held, she says. That was the trouble. Silence. Edmund looks at the name on the page, Thomas Reed, owing. He presses the pen down, the ink blots. The law does not account for, he begins, then stops, starts again, firmer. The law does not account for coastal irregularities in this manner. The record stands until amended by proper authority. Then amend it, says a man from the edge of the group, rope-burned hands, voice like gravel. You're the authority we've got. I am not empowered to falsify Crown records. Falsify? The man almost smiles at that. Almost. You're writing ghosts and calling it truth. Edmund lifts his chin a fraction. I am writing what is registered. What is gone? The woman says. What is recorded? Edmund corrects. What is gone? She repeats. The two words sit between them, one dry as paper, one wet as the sea. They bring him the suggestion as if it were nothing, as if it were small, as if it did not carry a rope of its own. Write fewer, the man says. Say the sea took them before your count. Say you arrived late. Say anything that fits your neat little lines. Edmund's mouth tightens. That would be an alteration without warrant. That would be the truth, the woman says. The truth, Edmund replies, is what can be accounted for. She looks past him then, out to the water. Then you'd best learn to count faster. Dusk comes in slow and cold. Edmund sits alone with the ledger open across his knees, a lantern guttering beside him. The light is poor, the wind worse. Pages lift and fall like they are trying to leave him. He weighs the book down with his hand. 12 houses, 6 on land, 6 elsewhere. He dips the pen, holds it, the ink trembles just slightly at the tip. He thinks of London, of rooms that do not move, of shelves lined with volumes that never change their minds, of men who would read this page and never see the cliff. He thinks of the rope, of the door, of a man pulled tight between what he held and what gave way. The lantern flickers, nearly goes. The cliff groans, a long, low sound, like something thinking about letting go. Edmund closes his eyes for a moment. Then he writes, Morning. The villagers gather again, though fewer now, or perhaps they stand further apart. Edmund reads the roll. Number 1, present. Number 2, present. Number 3. The list is shorter. No one comments, not yet. When he reaches the end, he closes the ledger with a firm final press. The seal goes on, wax softens, stamp bites, official, clean, wrong, or right, or both. He leaves Dunwich by the same road that does not finish. Behind him the bell rings, out of habit perhaps, or defiance. He does not turn back. Not when the wind rises, not when there is a sudden sharp crack that runs along the cliff like a split in timber. Not when the sound comes, the heavy final sound of earth giving way. Only then does he pause, just a fraction, just long enough for the noise to reach him properly, to settle in the ear, to become a fact. More gone. He adjusts the ledger under his arm. The numbers are already out of date. He walks on. The page says one thing, the land says another, and neither of them is finished.